the Mayor of Cape Town, Alderman Patricia de Lille, Minister for Economic Opportunities for the Western Cape, Minister Alan Winde, Sheikh Ahmed Sadiq, and various respected ulama and members and representatives of the Halal certifying bodies both in South Africa and from abroad, the CEO of West Road, Tim Harris, and the CEO of the Cape Chamber of Commerce, Sid Palmer, friends and colleagues from around the world, our brothers and sisters here from the Western Cape and from the rest of Africa, and delegates from all over Cape Town and the Western Cape. Good morning, goeiemorgen, molweni, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Rashid Tofi, and it's my absolute honor and privilege to welcome you all to Africa Halal Week. Welcome. Wamkele kile, ahlan wa sahlan, and I think today I welcome you to Cape Town, I welcome you to the Western Cape, perhaps for some of you I welcome you to South Africa, and welcome to Africa. The tradition of halal and the presence of Islam in the Western Cape goes back longer than I think many people know, but it in fact goes back to the early traditions of over 300 years in the Western Cape. And so when 4 or 5 years ago, when Minister Alan Winde embarked on a new economic strategy for the Western Cape, which was to focus specifically on the job creation potential of agriculture and agri-processing, it was absolutely building on a capability within our economy that has existed for many years. The fact that Islam and its traditions has been part not only of the culture of the Western Cape, the food of the Western Cape, and business and trade in the Western Cape goes back many, many years. And I think just before we start, it's perhaps poignant just to think about the earthquake that's happened in Indonesia comes from the exact island where our ancestors from this part of the world come from Sulawesi in Indonesia. So I have a very mixed heritage. It's somewhere between local South African heritage, Indian heritage, but certainly a large part of my heritage comes from that very specific island 300 years ago, which would have been coming here as original slaves and workers during the sort of early 1700s. So I welcome you all here today, and I'm excited to be at this place just a year on from the last year when we had an inward buying trade mission. But it's exciting to see how it's evolved into what we're calling Africa Halal Week. And I'd like to say this is the inaugural Africa Halal Week that we're having in Cape Town. As is the tradition at auspicious occasions as this, we've decided to have a recital from the Holy Quran. And we have an esteemed Qari, reciter of the Quran, Ghafir Williams, who will be reciting a few verses from the Quran which are relevant to the significance of halal, as it forms part of the essence of what it means to be Muslim. And I think as we start to talk for the next 3 or 4 days about the economic potential of halal, both as a job creator, as a creator of trade and investment, I think we should remind ourselves of the root of the vision of what halal is. Ghafir has a day job. He's an architect, and he's been a Qari for many years. He currently is performed. You see, I'm at that age. I must take my glasses off. He's recited in Malaysia, Turkey, Mauritius, Iran. He learnt his Hafiz, which means he memorized the entire Quran, back in 1988. And he currently teaches at the Nur Street Mosque. So it's my privilege to hand you over and ask you for just a moment of quiet and reflection while he recites a few verses from the Quran. So over to you, Hafiz.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا إن الله لا يحب المعتدين يا لا تحرموا طيبات ما أحل الله لكم ولا تعتدوا إن الله لا يحب المعتدين وكلوا مما رزقكم الله حلالا طيبا واتقوا الله الذي أنتم به مؤمنون بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم هو الله الذي لا إله إلا الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله عما يشركون هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم صدق الله العظيم. الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا ونبينا وحبيبنا وشفيعنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم افتح لنا بالخير واختم لنا بالخير واجعل عواقب أمورنا بالخير بيدك الخير إنك على كل شيء قدير. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Wow, thank you very much. That was amazing. If you've never experienced Kari before, this is an example of someone who's not only famous in Cape Town, but world famous for his skills and talents. And I think it's a tribute to the diversity that we have here in Cape Town. Just as you may be aware of us being a center of music and culture and dance, this is also some of the skills we have here. May you be blessed and continue to do the good work that you do and teaching young people and yeah, all the best. Thank you very much. Shall we give him a hand?
Hi, I'm here with the Honourable Mayor of Cape Town, Patricia de Lille. Hello and welcome.
Good morning and assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. So lovely to have you, and what a great keynote address. I loved every word. Tell me, how would you feel, what are your thoughts on what this Africa Halal Week, how it would impact the Western Cape on economy?
Yes. A part of the Halal Week is that one recognition that we need to do more. It is a sector that is being neglected over many years. And as the Western Cape government and the city of Cape Town, we've become aware that we need to do more. So it's to explore and to see how we can attract more Muslim tourists to come to our shores, but also to recognize the needs for a Muslim tourist in our city, like places of religion, places of halal food, and then of course the side of fashion and film and all of that. And so we are consulting for this week, and it's the first time that we are doing it, and I'm happy that it's hosted in Cape Town.
And what are you hoping that will be achieved from this conference?
Well, we have done a lot. I think we, as government, we mustn't not pretend that we know everything, that we need to listen to all the participants, all the delegates from around the world and learn from them, but also share what we are doing in the city of Cape Town to promote and tap into a very important market.
Thank you so much. That was Mayor Patricia de Lille. I'm here with Tim Harris, the CEO of Westgrow. Tim, hi. How are you doing?
Fine, and you?
Well, thank you. Thank you for asking. What initiated the African Halal Week?
Well, in the Cape economy, you've got a history of being an export basket for the continent. Out of the Cape, we export about 50% of South Africa's agricultural exports, more than 60% of South Africa's food exports. So when you start looking at the changing demography globally, the rise of the Muslim population, we're looking at about 30% of the world will be Islamic by 2060. And of that, those billions of consumers, 30% of those will be in Africa. So clearly we're already supplying the rest of Africa with much of the food production. As that population becomes more and more Muslim, we need to make sure that our products are halal certified and that they're well positioned to tap into that growing market. But of course, it's not just about exports. We also present what we think is a very strong investment case for companies looking to invest in the Islamic space. We've got strong Islamic banking in South Africa. We've got a good doing business environment. So much of our agriculture is actually processed here in the Cape for export around the world. And then as Westgrow, we're also responsible for tourism and film promotion. So our agri-products often open the door to travelers looking for beautiful and tolerant destinations such as Cape Town provides. That's both in terms of film production, but also in terms of visiting as a leisure tourist or for a conference as a business tourist.
And what do you foresee the outcome would be of this conference?
Well, we've got a couple of hundred people here representing buyers from around the world looking to source halal certified product. We've got decision makers and thought leaders globally, but from South Africa as well. And the idea is that we provide matchmaking between those partners and we help to realize opportunity. So you've got some producers in South Africa and in the Cape who don't realize the power of halal certification, the markets that it might open up for them. But also maybe they don't have connections on the ground in large Islamic markets that are sourcing products from around the world. So hopefully at a conference like this, we can position the Cape as a halal hub for Africa. But what that means practically is making the connections between people that are going to be able to do more halal-centric and Muslim-centric business out of the Cape.
Okay, great, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
I'm speaking to Dean and Kuni, Head of International Trade and Development, here at the Africa Halal Week. Hello and welcome.
Hi, Shan.
How are you doing?
I'm good, and you?
It's the start of great things here at the Africa Halal Week. Tell me, Dean, what would you consider the key role players and key objectives of this conference?
It's really to put our Western Cape halal certified companies in front of very senior buyers who are interested in purchasing these products. There will be a lot of one-on-one engagements between the buyers and the exhibitors. We have a total of 70 companies exhibiting, and we've managed to bring in 31 international VIP guests. 25 of those 31 are buyers of halal food and beverage products.
And what are you hoping the key objectives from this conference would be?
We really want export deals to be signed. I'm hoping we could achieve at least R1 billion in exports over the next few days. Already there's been very significant and interesting discussions that have been taking place. So I'm pretty sure we will achieve our objectives for the week.
And this, I believe, is not the first of its kind, this conference.
No, so we did have a smaller version of the event last year. We brought in 6 buyers and had 30 exhibitors, and we signed a total of 85 million rand over 3 days. So we definitely want to double and even triple that number if we can.
Well, all the best with that. Thank you so much, Dinan. I'm here with the Minister of Economic Opportunities, Minister Alan Winde. Hello and welcome. Minister Alan Winde, how do you see the benefits of growing the Western Cape economy through the halal industry?
So I think that's kind of my job, is obviously finding ways in which to grow opportunities for our businesses and have a look at growing trade, growing partnerships, and where do we have unique selling propositions. And 4 years ago, when we looked at really narrowing down our focus, we were the world was in a recession, coming out of a recession, And we were looking at where those opportunities lie. And there's an opportunity that's been right in our face all this time. Hundreds of years worth of history, part of us, and that is this halal market. And when we started doing some work on it, we went over to visit GCC countries, we went over to Malaysia to some of these big food trade fairs. We thought, well, food is what we've got to focus on. So we started looking at the opportunities in halal food and beverage. And that's where it started, and that was 4 years ago, but now it's expanded way beyond that. Now it's about halal lifestyle, it's about partnerships around the globe, it's about business opportunities for ours, but also trade opportunities, film opportunities, fashion opportunities, tourism opportunities. So really it's grown from a sort of small vision to something that's really doing really well, and this has culminated in something that we want to celebrate every year, a halal week, where we actually find that platform where all of this ecosystem can come together.
And what would you envisage would be the outcome of this particular Africa Halal Week?
So, of course, we've got international buyers and we've got local businesses. And I think that's the first thing. So as soon as buyers and businesses meet, I'm hopefully going to get a report that says we had some great meetings, we built some new partnerships, and we're already seeing, since we're focusing on it, we started measuring it. So we've already seen in the last financial year, a growth in 900 million rands worth of trade out of this region. So now we're doing over 10 billion rands worth of trade in this region into trade into other markets. We're not necessarily measuring the trade, the tourism or the incoming, but once you start measuring, you can start managing, and just putting those details on the table, I think, is going to make a difference for our businesses here.
Okay, thank you so much. We look forward to the success of the conference itself.
Thank you very much.
I have with me Maulana Shuaib Ibrahim Parker of the National Independent Halal Trust. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you finding the proceedings thus far?
Thus far, it is going good. It's going well, alhamdulillah. But tiring now, sitting in one spot.
Tell me, what is your thoughts on government seeing Western Cape as a halal hub?
Government and their part in the Western Cape Halal Hub, I think it's quite a big picture. Firstly, I would think is creating jobs, bringing people together. Firstly, the recognizing halal, the Islamic halal, the information on halal, creating awareness, studies. I think it's going through. Some of the colleges already starting to create a syllabus. I think it's IPSA. Mm-hmm. But according to what the government, they are trying to create more jobs, I think that is the main perspective of this whole halal hub.
And what are your expectations from the conference?
From the conference, just job creations as well. More awareness of halal itself. The Muslim friendly, we know the Muslim friendly Cape Town. The halal friendly is another story, but mainly to create more awareness of what is the true essence of halal and tayyibah.
Shukran.
Fine.